Have you ever just stopped and wondered, how do we actually learn? Why is it that some people can pick up a new skill almost instantly, while for the rest of us it can feel like a real struggle? It doesn't matter if you're learning a new language, trying to play guitar, or just figuring out new software for your job, learning is a huge part of our lives. So today, we're going to dive into the incredible science behind how it all works.
For the longest time, we were all told this story that after a certain age, our brain is pretty much set in stone. You get what you get, and that's it. Well, it turns out that is a massive myth. The truth is, honestly, so much cooler. Our brain is constantly changing, adapting, and literally rebuilding itself for our entire lives.
And hey, while we're busting myths, let's just get a couple of other big ones out of the way. I am sure you've heard that we only use 10% of our brains. Or maybe the idea that our brain just shuts down when we sleep or rest. Nope. Thanks to amazing tech like MRIs, we can see that none of this is true. Your brain is buzzing with activity even when you're just chilling out, and trust me, you are using all of it.
So what is this incredible power that just shatters all those old, outdated ideas? Well, it is time to meet the hero of our story today, neuroplasticity. Seriously, you're going to want to remember that word because getting a grip on what it means can genuinely change how you look at your own potential.
Okay, so what is neuroplasticity? Put simply, it's your brain's amazing ability to reorganize itself by creating new pathways, new connections. And the key phrase here is physical structure. This is not a metaphor, people. We're talking about the brain physically changing its own shape and wiring.
That's right. Every single time you learn something new, whether it's a tiny fact or a huge new skill, you are literally, physically rewiring your own brain. You're the electrician, laying down new pathways, strengthening connections. You're basically changing the very architecture of your mind. How incredible is that?
And here is the absolute best part, the most hopeful piece of this whole puzzle. This superpower does not have an expiration date. It's not something that just fades away as you get older. Our brains keep this incredible flexibility throughout our entire lives. And that means we can always pick up new hobbies, learn new skills, and even recover from serious brain injuries at any age. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Okay, so this all sounds fantastic, right? But how does this change actually happen? It sounds like magic, but it's pure science. How does the brain really modify itself when we learn? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. Well, scientists have figured out that there are basically three main ways the brain changes when we learn: chemical, structural, and functional. And you can think of them like a little orchestra, with each section playing its part, all working together in harmony to create this beautiful music that we call learning. Let's focus on the first two for a second. Chemical change? That's the fast one. It's that aha moment, when a light bulb goes on in your head and you suddenly get it. That's a temporary boost in chemical signals between your brain cells. But structural change, that's where the real lasting magic happens. This is the brain physically building new connections. It's like constructing brand new roads between cities. This is what makes learning stick. But it's slow, and it takes work.
Here's a perfect way to think about it. Imagine you're at a piano, and after struggling all day, you finally play a short song correctly. Yes, that feeling, that's the chemical change. But then you come back the next morning, and your fingers feel like they've forgotten everything. Why? Because that permanent structural change hasn't happened yet. That only comes with practice, with repetition.
And in all that practice leads us right to the third type of change, functional change. This is basically the use it and improve it principle. The more you fire up a specific part of your brain for a certain task, the better and more efficient it gets at doing that task. It becomes a specialist.
And the most famous, just amazing example of this comes from London taxi drivers. See, to get their license, they have to memorize this insane labyrinth of thousands of streets. It's called the knowledge. Well, studies found that the part of their brain that handles memory and navigation, the hippocampus, was physically bigger than in other people. They literally grew a part of their brain just by using it so intensely.
So this is all great news. Our brains are these flexible, super adaptable machines, just waiting to be upgraded. Which probably brings up a really big question you might be thinking right about now.
Yeah, if my brain is this incredible learning machine, why is it so hard sometimes? Why do I struggle so much to learn that new language? Or why can't I seem to finally master that new skill at work? It's a totally fair question. And the answer is actually the whole secret. The answer is because the struggle is the trigger. That feeling of difficulty, that's not a sign that you're failing. It's the sign that the process is actually working.
See, neuroplasticity doesn't just happen on its own. It's not a passive thing that you can just sit back and wait for. It has to be activated, and it's ignited by your actions. There's no magic pill for learning. To really change your brain, you have to do something. And not just anything. You have to push yourself just a little bit outside of your comfort zone.
So all those moments when you're wrestling with a problem, when you feel like you've hit a wall, those are the moments your brain is changing the most. It's growing. You have to reframe how you see this. Struggle isn't failure. It is the very engine of growth.
So this brings us to the most exciting part of all. How do we take all of this incredible science and actually put it into practice? How can we use this knowledge to, quite literally, create the brain that we want?
Okay, first things first. You can forget about those popular one-size-fits-all rules you've heard, like the famous 10,000-hour rule. Look, the truth is, there's no single magic formula that works for everybody. Each and every one of our brains is so unique, these kinds of blanket statements just don't really hold up.
And this really shows the new way of thinking. Think about modern medicine for a second. It's moving towards personalized treatments, right? Based on your unique biology. Learning should be exactly the same. We need to stop looking for a single answer and start finding personalized strategies that fit the unique way our own brain works.
So what's the takeaway here? Here's your personal toolkit. Number 1, become a detective of your own mind. Pay attention and figure out how you learn best. Are you a visual person? Do you learn by doing? Number 2, build brain-healthy habits and stick to them. Remember, repetition is what builds those permanent structural roads. And number 3, embrace the challenge. Actively seek out that feeling of struggle, because now you know it's a good thing. And I want to leave you with one final kind of mind-blowing thought. The brain you have in your head right now is not the exact same brain you had when you started watching this. Seriously, in just these last few minutes, everything you've heard and processed has already created tiny physical changes in your brain. Neuroplasticity is happening as we speak.
What this really means is that you hold an incredible amount of power. Your brain isn't some fixed destiny that you were handed at birth. It is a work of art, and you are the artist. You have the tools to shape it, to mold it, and to build it into whatever you want it to be.
So, the only question left is, what will you create?